if in like writing and like story structure, you talk about like acts, like act 1, act 2, act 3, right? And it's basically like emotional peaks, right? So I got to bring you up, and then I bring you down. So like I like build tension, and then I release the tension, and then I build the tension, and then I release the tension, right? So like that's the idea of that. And while I'm building up the tension, on the release, I hit you with the message, so that like you feel this way, right? And as you feel this way, I'm telling you what I learned at the top, and it sinks in and it hits you, right? And then it comes down, and then I got to build you back up again, higher this time, so I can hit you with an even more important message, right? So the way I'm doing it is I'm having 5 blocks, and I want to peak in my 4th block and bring it down in the 5th. So 1 up, 2 down, 3, 4 up, 5 down. As humans, we want to feel good. We want to feel valued. We want to feel like we have purpose. We want to feel like we're doing something better, right? Like what you guys said, it's like, in order to feel that way, I think it's synonymous with being who you want to be, right? When you look in the mirror, when you see the person that you want to see, right, you feel good about yourself. You know what I'm saying? And when you don't see the person that you want to be, you don't feel good about yourself. There's a mismanagement, right? And addiction, what addiction really is at its like core, from just all the study and all of like the people I've talked to and the experiences that I went through, is you're trying to regulate your emotions using external substances because you don't feel good inside, so you're trying to regulate your emotions, right? So like a good thing that I'm gonna add into this speech that I didn't add into the last speech was think about like if you have like a breakup, right? Like you go and you eat like a tub of ice cream, you feel bad inside, so now you're eating a tub of ice cream to make yourself feel better, right? That's an addiction. That's what someone would consider addiction, right? You have a headache and you go grab Advil. That's what someone would consider an addiction, right? Addiction is any time that you go outside to regulate your feelings inside. My addictions may be a little bit harder, but it's something that we've all experienced, and the root of the problem is not being who you want to be and not being in the situation that you want to be in, right? So the goal of my speech is to really force people to look inside themselves and be like, okay, am I becoming the person that I want to become? When I look in the mirror, do I feel proud of the person I'm becoming? Do I feel the way that I want to feel, right? When you're young, you go searching for answers without. When you don't know what you want, like you look around to see like, okay, what do my friends like? What do my parents want? What does my family want? What does society tell me I want? All these different things that a young man is told that he should want, right? So for me, it was like cars, girls, money. It's just like the blanket statement of like, this is what you need to be cool. When you're looking without, you're realizing that it's like, oh, I don't have these things, right? So when you look without and you're like, I don't have these things, immediately you look at yourself and you're just like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough, you know? And then when you see that and you see like, okay, I don't have these things, so I'm not good enough. Now there's a hole inside of you. Now you don't feel good. When you're not who you want to be, then you don't feel what you want to feel. That's block 1. I'm really trying to get that to hit. And that's also something that I want to pitch too is everybody has addictions, right? Some people just view other people's addictions as worse. So by comparison, your addictions are acceptable.
But some people might not admit to them.
100, yeah. So that's the whole point, 100%. The whole point that I'm trying to get at is like, you have them too, and I'm trying to wake you up to them, right? So you're like, yeah, I do feel like this.
But you might not have my addictions, but you have.
True.
You have.
I want you to think about a time in your life where you weren't good enough, where you didn't meet some expectation that when you looked in the mirror, you weren't happy. You didn't meet some expectation that you had for yourself, and that's important for yourself, right? Not for other people's expectations, for yourself, right? Once I go there, I want you to think about a time where, how did you feel during that time? How did you feel during that time? I can imagine that you didn't feel good, right? And then this is moving into block 2 now.
Yeah.
Now you're holding that in your head where you're just like, okay, like I wasn't who I wanted to be. I didn't feel the way that I wanted to feel. Block 2 is about just general humans, right? When you feel bad, what do? You try to make yourself feel better. It's natural, right? When you don't feel good about yourself, you do whatever you can to feel better, you know?
Yeah, that's very...
That's just the human emotion, I think. The first way you can make yourself feel better is by, the right way is to just build yourself, right? You don't feel good about your weight, you go to the gym and you're patient and you spend every single day just building brick by brick the house, right? Building brick by brick a house. You go to the gym every single day. You don't feel good about your career. You wake up every day and you start working harder, right? Or whatever. You don't feel good about the relationships you had. You sit down with the people that you care about and you talk to them about the relationships, right? Those are the hard things to do, but it's the right thing to do. Now, when you don't feel good about yourself and you're trying to feel better, this is the wrong way to do it. The reason you don't feel, once again, I want to take it back to, you don't feel good about yourself because you don't like who you are. And when you don't like who you are, you don't feel good inside. So now you're trying to make yourself feel better, right? So you can make yourself feel better a couple different ways. Only when you're looking without, though. When you're looking without, you can externally regulate your emotions, right? Externally regulating your emotions comes from the ice cream, the Advil, the addiction, okay? Or the second thing is when you're looking without, you're measuring yourself by relativity, by comparison, by I'm better than that guy, so I feel good about myself, right? So when you see that guy and he's better than you and you don't feel good about yourself internally, right? You either build yourself up brick by brick the right way or you tear that person down. Block 3 is all about me regulating my emotions with the drugs, with the alcohol, right? Block 4 is me then looking outside and trying to tear everybody else down so that I could feel better by comparison. And then block 5 is realizing that I was hurting the people that I loved and building myself up. So this is an example, like the 3 little pigs, right? So let's say that all 3 of us have houses, right? Let's say there's actually thousands of people and I don't feel good about the way my house looks, okay? So when you don't feel good about the way your house looks, I can go kick your house over to make my house look better. I can kick your house over to make my house look better. But eventually there's too many people's houses to kick down. It's impossible to kick everybody's house down. But if I just build up my house, eventually I'll start to feel better about my house. We look to the outside world to tell us who we are, right? And I really want to challenge that to where, Robin, you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, you're like, yo, this is who I am. And
I'm good with it.
And I'm good with it. This is who I'm gonna be. This is who I wanna be. I'm not gonna look outside and allow somebody else to tell me that I'm not good enough. I'm not gonna allow somebody else to make me feel like I'm not good enough, right? I'm gonna look myself in the face every single day and say, hey, how do you feel today? Do you feel good? Do you feel better than you did yesterday? And if you don't feel better than you did yesterday, then you need to start taking the steps and putting the bricks down to become that person, right? When you look outside for confirmation and validation from other people to be who you want to be, you're never going to get it. It's not coming. You know what I'm saying? Like why I want to be this person, I don't need your approval, you know? And as long as you can continue to tell yourself that in the back of your head, in the back of your mind that, right, then you don't need the drugs, you don't need the outside feelings, you don't need the outside stimulus, you don't need the validation from people, right? All those are addictions, right? Like even love is an addiction, you know what I'm saying? So like for me especially, like when I go out and I talk to girls and stuff, talking to them makes me feel good because it's like, oh, you think I'm cool? Cool, then I must be cool then. You know what I'm saying? So like how often have you done that where you're going out and you're trying to make friends and you're looking for validation from other people because you don't love yourself, right? So it's really a story about like trying to like love yourself and be cool with who you are. Because at the end of the day, like nobody chose their life. You didn't choose your skin color. You didn't get to choose your height. You didn't get to choose your parents. You didn't get to choose where you grew up. None of that is you. You know what I'm saying? You're given, but like what I think what you are, and you talk about this a lot, is like the energy inside, the spirit that you got, right? Like the kind of like energy that comes with you. This is just a shell, but it was given to you. So really the question that I'm having and I'm trying to like fish out of people is how can I tell my story in a way to be like, yo, like whatever you think is wrong with you, right, is because somebody outside of you put that voice inside your head. Somebody outside of you told you weren't good enough, right? But just look in the mirror and be like, yo, this is it. This is who I'm going to be, and I'm going to be this person. So for people with very encouraging parents, a very structured, sound family home environment, right? That is generally built into the family where whenever I need something, I can rely on my dad or my mom, right? And then at a certain point, because I'm so used to their voice and like what they would say and their advice, it eventually becomes internal and I internalize it myself and then I can use it myself, right? But for example, kids who grow up without parents or like dysfunctional homes or whatever, they don't have the option to rely on them as much. So what they end up tending to do is going to alcohol because they know exactly how they're going to feel when they're drinking. They know exactly how they're going to feel when they're drinking. They know exactly how they feel when they eat that type of ice cream. They know exactly how they feel when they're high. You know what I'm saying? So that becomes their anchor. And that's why so often when they venture out and they try new risks and try new things and it doesn't work out, they immediately go back to the drugs, right? That's the addiction piece. You're creating feelings inside of yourself that you can come back to, but they're not coming from within. They're not coming from your internal energy. You haven't put the work in to craft yourself to feel that way. So instead what you're doing is you're using external substances. We're all addicted to something, right? If you're going to be addicted to something, at least make them healthy addictions. You know, like if you feel bad and you got stress in you, don't go smoke a blunt. Go to the gym. You know, like at least you can burn that off. And like at a certain point, your body's like, all right, but we're tired, we're feeling better. You know, so crafting healthy addictions in yourself.
Another phrase to say that.
It starts with just like being cool with who you are. It's like, yo, this is who I am. And this is what I have, and this is what I got, and this is what I was given, right? But that doesn't mean that I won't be something later, right? So it started with basically accepting where I was and being like, yo, this is where I'm at. This is the level that I'm at. And then saying, okay, I'm not happy with where I'm at. I need to be there. How do I get there, right? And then what I did was, when I realized that's where I wanted to be, a lot of people want to get there tomorrow. It's gonna take days. It's gonna take steps. You gotta climb the staircase. You gotta put those bricks and bricks and bricks